Hello everyone, and welcome to another review. Today we're going to go ahead and review a fragrance from the house of Bond Number 9. It is Bond Number 9 Hamptons. Here's the bottle. It is the standard Bond Number 9 shape, the star-ish type of a shape, and the bottle is simply blue. It's a very simple design and it says Hamptons on the front of it, as you can see. As with most Bond Number 9 bottles, the cap is just like, comes on, comes off. There's not really much to say about the design for it. This is actually the 3.4. The 1.7 is also available. 3.4 is going to run you $265 retail, and the 1.7 or 50 milliliter is going to run you $195. So it's a little bit, actually not I would say a little bit, it's on the pricey side in terms of actual fragrance price. It also comes with the standard Bond Number 9 boxes. So each has its own different thing, and this one is very simple. It just says Bond Number 9. It says Hamptons on the front of it. But just like all the other Bond boxes. Alright, now the fragrance was created by Renee, I'm going to have trouble pronouncing her last name, Margatholan. I'm sorry, I'm butchering it, but I only see 2 fragrances that are actually on her dossier of creation, and not many people really know those fragrances. So either way, this was a collaboration that she did with Bond Number 9 back in 2005, or it's either 2005 or 2003. The fragrance itself was released in 2005. Okay? With that, let's go ahead and get into the notes for this fragrance. The notes consist of, at our top, we have lime, sage, cedar, bergamot, and lemon. For our mid, we have jasmine, magnolia, and Turkish rose. And for our base, we have sandalwood, amber, and musk. So if you've heard me talk about this fragrance, you've probably heard me talk about it in the terms of spring. This is my rainy day go-to scent. It's a scent that I've used for rainy days, and it started on when I was once on a trip. I believe it was to California or San Diego. It was a business trip, and rather than take full bottles, I had taken a bunch of samples, and this was one of the samples that I took with me. It happened to be raining that day, and I put it on, wore it, and figured, oh wow, this actually works pretty well. It kind of syncs really well with the rain. It provides I guess you could say, a nice citrusy opening that kind of meshes well with the rain for it. So one of the main scents that you get right off the bat is this citrus blast. Now the citrus blast, it's not like traditional citruses where you're going to smell lemon, although you do get a little bit of lemon. The primary note for citrus that you're going to get in this is lime, and really that's really what makes it unique. It's not this, I guess you could say, tarty, tangy type thing. It's more of this bright citrusy type of an opening. And at the same time, it has this sour note a little bit to it that gives it this uniqueness. It also has a very heavy floral, I guess you could say, presence in the actual scent. The Turkish rose you get from a little bit, but primarily you really get jasmine from this scent. So you get jasmine combined with lime, and at the base you get a little bit of the cedar, and you get a lot of the musk. So lime, jasmine, cedar, and musk is kind of what I get from this. But overall and overwhelming, it comes off more of a citrus, especially as the fragrance kind of takes its toll throughout the first, I want to say, throughout this first like 3-4 hours, and then it kind of dies down more. You get a little bit more of the musk and a little bit less of the citrus for it. All right. Now, this fragrance is very similar in vibe to Creed's Silver Mountain Water. They're very similar. To me, the main difference on this is Silver Mountain Water has more of a metallic feel to it, whereas this lacks that. There's another fragrance that I reviewed, Allegro, I believe, Sospiro, it's like a Xerjoff house that smells very close to this, actually very close. There's another fragrance supposedly that smells like this, Al Rehab, Silver, I believe, is another fragrance that supposedly smells like this, and it's a lot cheaper. But I have not gotten my nose on that, so unfortunately I can't comment or let you know if that is a viable alternative to this. Now, one of the other things that comes across on this fragrance is that it does have a semi-aquatic type of a vibe. You do kind of get a saltiness in this fragrance that gives you a little bit of an aquatic type of a vibe, but it's not an aquatic fragrance. So just keep that one thing in mind. It does have a nice little saltiness to it, and for some reason I like saltiness in my fragrances, so that is a pretty good strike for it. So spray wise, I give this one usually anywhere between 2 and 3 sprays. Any more and I start smelling a lot like a floral bomb to it. So just want to be careful on the trigger for this one. You probably could get away with even 1, most likely. But actually, keeping on with that, 3 sprays I usually go because I usually wear this one in the rain specifically. Season-wise, spring and summer written all over it. I don't even touch it or go near it in the winter. Occasion-wise, I wear it as a casual fragrance and to work. That's kind of where I've been conditioned to wearing it, and it does well in both. I will say that I have not received a compliment on this with wearing this at work. I have received compliments wearing it casually, but not at work. All right? Age-wise, I say it's college plus. So if you're college and beyond, go ahead and give this one a shot. I think it's a little bit too... I just don't think it fits really for younger people on this fragrance. So, but again, those are just recommendations. And performance-wise, it lasts anywhere between 4 and 7 hours on my skin. Now, after the 4-hour mark is when it starts to get a little bit dicey. Now, I say dicey is that when I mentioned earlier that the citrus kind of goes away from it and that bright sharpness goes away from it, that's what happens, and the musk begins to take over in it. That period sometimes starts anywhere between 4 and 7 hours, and once it starts to go, it's gonna go pretty fast. So it's gonna disappear off your skin pretty soon afterwards. So that's another thing to keep in mind. But the projection on this is great while it lasts, and the sillage on it is great while it lasts as well. So, as with all fragrances, I took it out to Times Square. I had 100 different people smell it randomly on the streets, kind of divided it evenly between men and women. Of the people who smelled it, 63 people liked it. They said that it was bright, they said that it was fresh, they said that it was pleasant. There were 24 people who disliked it. They said that it was too feminine, they said that it was sour, and they said that it was nauseating. Yes. So there's some combination that some people are just not liking for this scent that's in there. And 13 people who thought it was neutral. So overall, if I'm to go ahead and give this fragrance a rating, I personally give this fragrance a rating of a 7 out of 10. Why a 7 out of 10? Well, the scent, to me, it's one of the fragrances that I love, especially as a spring fragrance. But it does have this weird kind of twist to it. It has this twist where, here's a strange thing. If there was no rain, I probably wouldn't like this fragrance at all, because I just feel that it feels perfect for the rain and comes across as something that really meshes well with those types of scenarios. But outside of it, I really don't wear it outside of the rain. So for that reason, I really don't believe it's that versatile at all. Somebody can make this, a scent that they love and a signature scent, but it's going to really have to match them, and they're really going to have to love it in order for it to come off. Again, you come across the price as well too. This is very pricey. Now, the reason I didn't really give it strikes off for its price is because to find similar scents that I've seen so far for it, they're pretty pricey and they're pretty expensive. So it kind of keeps in the lines along the lines of most what you're going to get with, I guess you could say, for a scent of this type, there seems to be all expensive fragrances, or fragrances that are even more expensive than this. So that's why I don't really give it I guess you could say, a strike for that. But it still is pretty expensive. You may be able to find it at some retailers. I know Bond Number 9, or you could find it at places like Fragrance Net? Yeah, you could find it at some discount retailers before, but I believe they made a big push to get them taken off those sites. So you may only be able to buy it, from a retail store. But either way, look around, check around, see what you can find for it. All right. So if you have any questions whatsoever, please feel free, send me a message, leave me a note. Let me know what your experiences are with Bond Number 9, Hamptons, if you will, or even with Silver Mountain Water that is similar smelling to this. Just let me know what they are. All right. Thank you. Take care of yourselves and have a great day.